Park opened her eyes in the darkness. Something was wrong. She could feel it before her brain could understand it. There was weight on her legs, something warm, something alive. She stayed very still. Her heart beat fast in her chest. The research station was supposed to be empty. She was the only human on 7 for thousands of kilometers. The cold gas giant below them held no life. The space around them held nothing but silence and stars. But something was on her bed. Moved her hand slowly toward the light switch on the wall. Her fingers found it. She pressed it. Soft blue light filled her small room. She looked down at her legs and stopped breathing. 3 creatures lay curled together on her blanket. They were about the size of large cats, but they were not cats. They had 6 legs tucked under their bodies. Their fur was silver gray, soft like clouds. Their ears were large and pointed toward different directions, listening even in sleep. And when the light touched them, one of them opened its eyes. The eyes were huge. They glowed soft gold like little moons. The creature looked at. It did not run. It did not attack. It made a small sound like a bird singing a single note, and then it put its head back down on her leg. Did not move for a long time. She had studied alien life for 12 years. She had seen creatures that could kill with a single touch. She had seen things that had no shape, no form, just hunger. But she had never seen anything like this. The other 2 cubs woke up slowly. They stretched their 6 legs and yawned, showing small teeth that looked more cute than dangerous. One of them, the biggest of the 3, walked up her blanket and sniffed her hand. Its nose was cold and wet. It sneezed, then rubbed its face against her fingers. Laughed, she could not help it. The sound came out of her before she could stop it. "Where did you come from?" she whispered. The cubs did not answer, of course, but they moved closer to her. They pressed their warm bodies against her sides, against her stomach, against her chest. They were seeking heat. They were seeking comfort. They were seeking her. Sat up slowly, careful not to scare them. She reached for her scanner on the bedside table. The device was small and silver. She pointed it at the largest cub and pressed the button. The screen lit up with information. Her eyes went wide. Species juvenile, 3 specimens. She knew that name. Everyone who worked in deep space knew that name. Were supposed to be monsters. The report said they were apex predators, dangerous hunters that killed everything in their territory. Ships had been warned to stay away from systems where were found. Scientists had tried to study them and never returned. But these creatures on her bed were not monsters. They were bobbies. They were soft and warm and scared. The smallest one was shaking slightly, pressing itself harder against her side. "You are just children," said softly, "just little ones." She looked at the scanner again. It showed more information now. The cubs were hungry. They were dehydrated. They had traveled a long distance. Their stress levels were very high. How did they get here? Her station was sealed. The airlocks were closed. There were no holes in the walls, no broken windows. It was impossible. But they were here. That was the only truth that mattered right now. Got out of bed slowly. The cubs made unhappy sounds when she moved away from them. She walked to her small kitchen area and opened the cold storage. She had protein packs, water pouches, some dried fruit. She did not know what ate, but she had to try something. She put water in a shallow bowl and brought it to the bed. The cubs looked at it. The middle-sized one moved first. It walked to the bowl on careful legs and drank. Its small tongue moved fast, lapping up the water like it had not drunk in days. The other 2 followed quickly. Watched them drink. Her heart hurt in a strange way. These were bobbies, lost bobbies, alone bobbies. Something bad had happened to them, something that made them run across space to find safety. And they had found her bed. When the water was gone, the cubs looked at her again. The biggest one walked toward her and rubbed its head against her knee. The message was clear. "Thank you. More please, stay with us." "Okay," said, her voice was thick. "Okay, little ones, I will help you." She spent the next hour feeding them small pieces of protein and dried fruit. They ate everything she gave them. Then they climbed back onto her bed and curled together in a pile of fur and legs. Within minutes, they were asleep. Sat in her chair and watched them. She should report this. Station rules were very clear. All alien life forms must be reported immediately. The Galactic Union had protocols. There were forms. There were procedures. But something stopped her hand every time she reached for the communication panel. These were not specimens. They were not data points. They were children who had lost everything and found her in the darkness. Her computer made a sudden sound. A warning. Turned to look at the screen. Alert: unregistered vessel entering station proximity. Distance 50,000 kilometers. Closing fast. Felt cold. No ships were scheduled to arrive for another 3 weeks. Her supply delivery was not due until next month. No one should be here. She looked at the cubs on her bed. They were awake now. Their ears were flat against their heads. Their golden eyes were wide with fear. The smallest one was making a high, frightened sound. They knew, somehow they knew. Something was coming for them. Stood up, she walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Far away, she could see a small light moving. A ship coming toward her station. Coming for the cubs. She did not know who was on that ship. She did not know what they wanted. But she looked at the 3 small creatures shaking on her bed, and she felt something grow strong inside her chest. They had come to her. They had trusted her. They had made her bed their safe place. She would not let anyone hurt them. "It is okay," she said to the cubs. Her voice was calm and steady. "I am here. Nothing will touch you." The cubs watched her with their big golden eyes. They did not understand her words, but they understood her tone. Slowly, their shaking stopped. The smallest one moved closer to the edge of the bed, reaching toward her with one small paw. Took the paw gently in her hand. "I promise," she whispered, "I will keep you safe." Outside the window, the ship grew closer. Inside the station, a woman and 3 lost cubs waited together in the artificial night. The hunt had begun. The ship was ugly. Watched it through her station window as it grew larger against the stars. It was black and covered with metal spikes. Weapons hung from its sides like teeth. This was not a research vessel. This was not a cargo ship. This was a hunter's ship, a killer's ship. Her communication panel lit up. Someone was trying to contact her. Took a deep breath. She pressed the button to accept the call. A face appeared on her screen. It was not human. The creature had gray skin, thick like leather. Its eyes were small and red. Sharp bone plates covered its forehead and cheeks like natural armor. When it spoke, she could see rows of pointed teeth. "Human," the creature said. Its voice was deep and rough. "I am of the Empire. You have something that belongs to me." Kept her face calm. "I do not know what you mean." Smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Do not play games with me. I have tracked those cubs across 3 star systems. They are on your station. I can smell them from here." Said nothing. "They are valuable," continued. "Very valuable. Cubs sell for millions on the black market. Rich collectors pay anything to own such rare creatures. I killed their mother to get them. I will not let them escape now." He killed their mother. The words hit like a punch. She thought of the 3 small cubs sleeping on her bed. They were not just lost. They were orphans. Their mother had died trying to protect them. "The cubs are not yours," said. Her voice was cold. "You did not raise them. You did not love them. You murdered their mother and tried to steal them." Laughed. "Love, raise. You humans are so strange. These are animals, property, nothing more. They are children. They are profit." Leaned closer to the screen. "I will give you 1 hour, human. Open your airlock and give me the cubs. Do this and I will leave you alive. Refuse, and I will break into your station and take them anyway. Then I will kill you slowly for wasting my time." The screen went dark. He had ended the call. Sat very still. Her hands were shaking. She was alone on a research station with no weapons. The hunter had a warship. He had killed before. He would kill again. She should give up the cubs. That was the smart thing to do. That was the safe thing to do. No one would blame her. Station rules said she should report alien life forms. They did not say she should die for them. But when she turned and looked at her bed, she saw 3 pairs of golden eyes watching her. The cubs had woken up. They had heard everything, and they were terrified. The smallest one climbed down from the bed. It walked to her on shaky legs. It pressed its tiny body against her feet and looked up at her. Its eyes were full of trust, full of hope, full of fear. Picked it up. The cub was so light in her arms, so warm, so alive. "No," she said quietly, "I will not give you up." She carried the cub to her communication panel and sent a message to the nearest station. Her friend worked there. He was 2 days away by fast ship, but he might be able to help. She said into the recorder, "I need help. There is a hunter here. He wants to take something from me. I cannot let him. Please, if you can, send help. Send anyone." She ended the message and sent it into space. Then she began to prepare. Had no guns, she had no bombs, but she was a scientist and scientists knew how to solve problems. She walked through her station looking at everything with new eyes. The doors could be locked. The air systems could be controlled. The gravity plates in the floor could be adjusted. Every system could be a weapon if she thought hard enough. The cubs followed her. They walked behind her in a line, their 6 legs moving in perfect rhythm. The biggest one led them. He was brave, always moving forward, checking corners before the others came. The middle one was clever, sniffing at machines and buttons like she understood what they did. The smallest one stayed close to, never more than an arm's length away. Started to give them names in her mind. The big one was strong and brave. The middle one was quick and smart. The smallest one was gentle and loving. "Okay, my little ones," she said, "we have work to do." She spent the next hour setting traps. She weakened one section of hallway floor so it would break under heavy weight. She rigged a door to spray fire suppression foam when opened. She programmed the lights in the storage area to flash painfully bright at the touch of a button. It was not much, it would not stop forever, but it might slow him down. Her communication panel lit up again. A message from. "What is happening? I got your message. A hunter. Are you okay? Listen to me carefully. Are dangerous. They are stronger than humans, faster. Their skin can stop most weapons. Do not fight them. Give them what they want and stay alive." Listen to the message. Then she played it again. Then she deleted it. Was a good friend. He cared about her, but he did not understand. She looked down at who was sitting on her foot. The little cub looked up at her and made a soft chirping sound. It sounded almost like a question. "No," said, "I will not give you to him." The hour was almost over, would be coming soon. Walked back to her control room and looked at the screens. The hunter's ship was very close now. She could see it clearly, all its weapons and armor. Then something strange happened. Began to glow. Stared at him. The cub's fur was giving off soft blue light. It started in his chest and spread outward until his whole body shimmered like a star, started glowing too. Then, all 3 cubs were lit up with beautiful blue light. Her scanner beeped. She looked at it. The cubs' stress levels were still high, but something else was happening too. Some kind of energy was building inside them. The scanner did not understand what it was. The cubs moved closer together. They pressed against each other and looked at. Their eyes were calm now. The fear was still there, but something else was there too. Trust, complete trust. They believed in her. They believed she would protect them. Felt tears in her eyes. She wiped them away quickly. "Okay," she said. "He is coming, but I am ready. We are ready." She looked at the hunter's ship one more time. Somewhere on that ship was preparing to attack. He thought this would be easy. He thought she would be weak. He was wrong. Sealed the station. Every door locked. Every window shuttered. Every system went into defense mode. The communication panel lit up one more time. His face appeared. "Your hour is over, human. I gave you a chance. You did not take it. Now I will take what I want, and you will pay for your stupidity." Smiled at him. It surprised him. She could see it in his red eyes. "Come and try," she said. "But I warn you of the Empire. You killed their mother. You will not have her children." She ended the call. The battle for the cubs had begun. The station shook, was cutting through the outer airlock with heavy tools, could hear the sound of metal screaming. It would not take him long. She stood in the main corridor with the 3 cubs behind her, was in front of the others, his small body tense and ready, watched the vents above them, pressed against his leg, shaking but staying close. "Stay together," told them. "Follow me, do not make sounds." The cubs seemed to understand. They moved when she moved, stopped when she stopped. They were smart, smarter than any animal she had ever studied. The outer airlock broke open with a crash. Cold air rushed into the station. Warning lights began to flash. Red, red, red. "Human's voice echoed through the metal halls. "I am inside now. There is nowhere to run." Did not answer. She led the cubs into a side passage and closed the door behind them. Her hands moved fast on the control panel, locking it with 3 different codes. She knew the station better than she had lived here for 2 months. She knew every corner, every room, every secret path. He was strong. She was smart. That would have to be enough. Through the security cameras, she watched enter the station. He was bigger than she expected, over 2 meters tall. His armor covered him from neck to feet. 2 others followed him. They were smaller but still dangerous. All 3 carried weapons that glowed with red light. 3 hunters, 1 human, 3 cubs. Moved. She led the cubs through the back corridors, always staying 1 step ahead of the hunters. Was fast, but he did not know the station. He took wrong turns. He walked into dead ends. Every time he got close, she slipped away. "She is playing with us," one of the smaller hunters said. His name was, he sounded angry. "Let her play," answered. "She will get tired, we will not." He was right, was getting tired. She had been awake for hours. Her legs hurt. Her lungs burned, but she could not stop, not yet. She reached the hallway where she had weakened the floor. The cubs seemed to sense something wrong. They stopped at the edge and looked at her. "Go around," she whispered. "Against the wall, do not step in the middle." The cubs understood. They pressed against the wall and moved carefully past the dangerous section, followed them. Then she waited. Came around the corner, he saw her. His red eyes lit up with anger. He ran toward her, his heavy feet pounding on the floor. He reached the middle of the hallway. The floor broke. Fell through with a roar of surprise. The hole was not deep enough to kill him, but it was deep enough to trap him. Heard him crash into the equipment room below. She heard his shouts of anger. "The other way," shouted. He and the 3rd hunter turned to find another path. The cubs ran with her. She reached the storage area and sealed the door. Her trap was ready here too. She pressed against the wall and waited. Through the window in the door she saw approach. He opened the door. The lights exploded into brightness. Pure white light, strong enough to blind, screamed and covered his eyes. Grabbed a heavy tool from the shelf and hit him in the face as hard as she could. He fell down. He was not dead, but he would not get up for a while. 2 hunters left, but was paying a price. The hit had hurt her hand. Her fingers were swelling. Her whole arm ached. She was not a fighter. Her body was not made for this. She kept moving anyway. The cub stayed with her, walked beside her now, his glowing body lighting the dark passages. He kept looking up at her, checking on her, making sure she was okay. "I am fine," she lied. "Keep going." She found a place to hide in the medical bay. She needed to rest, just for a moment, just long enough to catch her breath. She sat down against the wall. Her vision was getting blurry. When had she last eaten? When had she last slept properly, she could not remember. The cubs gathered around her, sniffed at her injured hand and made a worried sound, pressed his warm body against her chest. The little cub's glow was soft and gentle. It reminded her of sunlight, of safety, of home. Closed her eyes, just for a moment. When she opened them, she found supplies on her lap. Bandages, a water pouch, a protein bar. The cubs had brought them to her. They had gone through the medical bay and found things she needed. Now they sat in front of her, watching her with their golden eyes. Pushed the water pouch closer with her nose. You brought these for me," whispered. Made a sound. It was soft and warm. It meant yes. Felt tears run down her face. She did not try to stop them. These creatures were supposed to be monsters, dangerous predators, killers. That is what all the reports said. But here they were taking care of her, bringing her medicine, staying by her side. She drank the water. She ate the protein bar. She wrapped her hand with the bandages. The cubs watched every movement. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you, my little ones." In the station security center had climbed out of his trap. He was hurt. His leg was cut. His armor was damaged, but he was not finished. He found a working screen and accessed the camera system. He wanted to find the human. He wanted to end this game. He searched through the cameras until he found the medical bay. He saw the human sitting against the wall. She looked weak, tired, easy to kill. But then he saw the cubs. They were caring for her. They had brought her supplies. They were pressed against her, keeping her warm, keeping her safe. They were not running from her. They were not afraid of her. They loved her. Stared at the screen for a long time. This made no sense. Did not bond with other species. They were predators. They trusted only their own kind. The scientists had studied them for years. The reports were clear. But these cubs had chosen this human. They had run across space to find her. They had made her their family. Did not understand. In culture, you protected only your blood, your clan, your pack. Helping a stranger was weakness. Helping another species was madness. Yet this small, weak human was risking everything for creatures that were not her children, not her species, not her anything. Why? Turned off the screen. He did not have time for questions. He had a job to do. The cubs were worth millions. The human was worth nothing. He limped toward the medical bay. The hunt continued. But something had changed in his mind. A small crack, a tiny doubt. He did not know it yet, but watching that screen had planted a seed. Humans were strange. Humans were weak. Humans were soft. But maybe, just maybe, they knew something that did not. In the medical bay stood up. Her body hurt, but her heart was strong. The cubs gathered around her, ready to move again. "One more time," she said. "We have to keep going just a little longer." Walked to the door. He looked back at her and made a sound. It meant follow me. Smiled through her tears. "Lead the way, brave one." Together, they stepped back into the darkness. The station was getting colder. Had damaged the heating systems when he broke through the airlock. Could see her breath now, small white clouds in the air. The cubs walked closer together, their glowing fur the only warmth in the dark corridors. Was hunting them. Could hear his heavy footsteps somewhere behind them. He was being careful now. He had seen what happened too. He would not fall for the same tricks. His hand hurt badly. The bandages were turning red with blood. She needed real medical help, but there was no time. There was never any time. "This way," she whispered to the cubs. She led them into the research lab. It was a big room full of computers and scanners and equipment she had used to study alien life. Now she would use it to save alien life. The cub spread out across the room, went to the door and watched the hallway. His ears moved constantly, listening for danger. Climbed onto a desk and looked at the screens. Stayed with his small body pressed against her leg. Sat at her computer. She pulled up the old files about. If she was going to protect these cubs, she needed to understand them. She needed to know what they really were. The files loaded slowly. Reports from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Scientists who had tried to study and never came back. Warnings about dangerous predators. Recommendations to destroy them on sight. But as read deeper, she found something strange. One scientist had survived an encounter. His name was Dr. Lee. He had written a different kind of report, a report that no one believed. Are not predators, the report said. They are protectors. They form deep bonds with other species. They choose a family and stay loyal to that family forever. The aggression we see is defense, not attack. They are protecting those they love. Read the words again. They choose a family. She looked at beside her. The little cub was watching her with his big golden eyes. His glow was soft and gentle, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. You chose me, said quietly. That is why you came here. That is why you found my bed. You were looking for family. Made a soft sound. He reached up and put his paw on her injured hand. His glow grew brighter where he touched her. Warmth spread through her fingers, easing the pain. Stared at her hand. The bleeding had stopped. The swelling was going down. Was healing her. She looked at the other cubs. Was still watching the door, but his glow was different now. It pulsed in a pattern like a warning light. He was scanning for danger. Was at the computer screens, and somehow, impossibly, she was using her nose to press buttons. She was pulling up maps of the station. These were not just animals. They were partners, teammates, family. Dr. Lee's report was right. Everything else was wrong. The door exploded inward. Stood in the doorway. He was covered in dust and anger. His weapon glowed red, pointing straight at. No more running, he growled. No more tricks, give me the cubs. Moved, he was fast, faster than expected. He jumped its face, all 6 legs scratching and clawing. The hunter screamed and stumbled backward, trying to grab the cub. Ran across the floor and tangled herself in its legs. He tripped and fell hard. Grabbed the heavy scanner from her desk and brought it down on its head. Once, twice, 3 times he stopped moving. She was shaking. Her whole body was shaking. She had never hurt anyone in her life, but these were her cubs now. She would do anything to protect them. Jumped down from his body. He was not hurt. His glow was bright and strong. He looked at and made a sound that might have been pride. Good boy, whispered. Very good boy. 2 hunters down, 1 left, the worst one. But was hurt, she was tired, she could barely stand. Pressed against her again. His healing glow spread through her body. It was not enough to fix everything, but it was enough to keep going, enough to keep fighting. Okay, said. Let us find somewhere safe, somewhere we can wait for help. She had sent the message to hours ago. Maybe he had contacted the Galactic Union. Maybe help was coming. She had to believe that. She had to hope. They left the research lab and moved deeper into the station. Knew a place. A storage room with thick walls and only 1 door. If they could reach it, they could wait there. They could survive. But was waiting. He stepped out of the shadows in front of them. He was limping from his earlier fall. His leg was bleeding, but his eyes were still full of fire. Enough, he said. This game is over. Pushed the cubs behind her. She had nothing left. No weapons, no tricks, no strength, just her body between the hunter and the children. You cannot win, said. I am stronger than you, faster, better. You are just a human. Yes, said. I am just a human. Then why do you fight? Why do you suffer for creatures that are not your kind? This makes no sense to me. Looked at him, he was confused. He truly did not understand. On my planet, she said, we have a long history with other species. Thousands of years ago, we met wolves. They were wild, dangerous, predators, like your people thought about. Listened. But instead of killing them all, we made friends with some of them. We fed them. We sheltered them. We gave them love, and they became dogs, our partners, our family. They helped us hunt. They protected our children. They stayed by our beds when we were sick and dying. His voice grew stronger. We did the same with cats, with horses, with birds. Every species we loved made us stronger. Every family we built made us better. That is what humans do. That is who we are. She pointed at the cubs behind her. These cubs lost their mother because of creatures like you. They were alone and scared. They traveled across space looking for safety. And they found me. They chose me. I did not ask for this, but I will not turn away from it. Stared at her. You would die for them. Yes. You would kill for them. I already have. Something changed in his face. The anger was still there, but something else too. Something that looked almost like respect. You are insane, he said. Maybe, replied. But these cubs are my family now, and I will fight for my family until my last breath. The cubs moved forward. They stood beside, not behind her, on her left, on her right, at her feet. Their glow was bright and strong, all three of them shining together. They were not hiding anymore. They were standing with their mother. Their human mother. Raised his weapon. Then you will die together. Closed her eyes. Help me, she thought, please hurry. The weapon began to charge. Red light filled the corridor. And then from somewhere far away, a new sound. Engines, many engines, coming fast. Turned to look. Through the station window, saw lights in space. Ships, Galactic Union ships, 5 of them, 10 of them, more. Help had arrived. His face changed. Panic, anger, defeat. This is not over, he growled. He turned and ran. His injured leg slowed him, but he was still fast. He disappeared into the shadows, heading for his ship. Fell to her knees. The cubs surrounded her immediately, pressing their warm bodies against her, their glow wrapping around her like a blanket. We did it, she whispered. We survived. Licked her face, made a happy chirping sound, crawled into her lap and curled into a ball. Outside, the Union ships moved to block escape. Voices came through the communication system, official voices, safe voices. Held her cubs and cried. The Union ships surrounded his vessel, but he was not giving up. Watched through the station window as his black ship turned and fired at the patrol ships. Explosions lit up the darkness of space like new stars being born. He is running, she said to herself. But he was not running away. He was running toward the station, toward her. The communication panel crackled. A Union officer spoke through the static. Research Station 7, this is Commander Shin of the Galactic Union Patrol. We received a distress signal from this location. Please respond. Pulled herself to her feet and stumbled to the panel. The cubs followed her, their glows flickering with worry. Commander Shin, this is Park. A bounty hunter named is trying to kill me. He wants the cubs on this station. He already broke inside. 2 of his hunters are down, but he escaped. He is coming back. Understood, Dr. Park. We are moving to intercept. Stay where you are. We will. The communication cut off. Through the window, saw why. Ship had fired a special weapon at the nearest Union vessel, some kind of energy pulse. The patrol ship went dark and began to drift. He is crazy, whispered. He is attacking the Galactic Union. But did not care about laws or rules or consequences. He cared about the millions he would lose if the cubs escaped. He would rather die fighting than go home empty-handed. His ship turned again and flew straight at the station. He was going to dock. He was coming back. Grabbed the cubs and ran. She headed for the central hub, the heart of the station. It was the most protected area, with the thickest walls and the best locks. If she could reach it, she might survive until the Union soldiers arrived. But was faster. He crashed through a side airlock just as reached the hub. Metal screamed. Air rushed out before emergency shields closed the hole. And then he was there, standing in front of her, blocking the only door to safety. He was injured worse than before. Burns covered half his armor. His red eyes were wild with fury. Blood dripped from cuts on his face. "You brought the Union here," he said. "You ruined everything." "I protected my family," replied. The cubs pressed against her legs. They were scared, but they did not run. They stayed with her. They trusted her. Family laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You keep using that word. These are not your family. They are animals, property, things. They are children who lost their mother, children who found me and asked for help. That makes them my family." Humans shook his head. "I have traveled the galaxy. I have met many species, but I have never understood your kind. You bond with everything, machines, animals, aliens. You give your hearts away like they cost nothing." "They do not cost nothing," said. "They cost everything, but we give them anyway. That is what makes us strong." Raised his weapon. "No, that is what makes you dead." He fired. Closed her eyes, waiting for the pain. It never came. She opened her eyes, was standing in front of her. His small body was glowing brighter than ever, so bright it hurt to look at. The energy from his weapon had hit a wall of light in front of the cub, a shield made of pure glow. Stared what? Turned and looked at. His golden eyes were calm and warm. He made a soft sound. "Do not be afraid. I will protect you." Moved next. She ran forward and her glow changed color. Blue to white, white to blinding, screamed and covered his eyes. He could not see. Attacked. He jumped onto his back and bit down hard on the hunter's neck, finding the gap between armor plates. Roared in pain and tried to throw him off, but held tight. Looked around for anything she could use. Her eyes found a fire extinguisher on the wall. Heavy, metal, good enough. She grabbed it and swung its injured leg. The hunter fell. He crashed to the floor, still attached to his neck. His weapon flew from his hand and slid across the metal floor. Hit him again and again. Each time he tried to rise, she knocked him back down. Her arms burned. Her injured hand screamed with pain, but she did not stop. She was fighting for her family. She would not lose. Finally stopped moving. He lay on the floor, breathing hard, blood pooling around him. He was not dead, but he could not fight anymore. Dropped the fire extinguisher. Her whole body was shaking. She fell to her knees next to the defeated hunter. The cubs gathered around her. Shield faded. Its blinding light dimmed. Released neck and walked to, pressing his head against her chest. "Good cubs," she whispered. "My brave good cubs." Turned his head to look at her. His red eyes were still open, still aware. "You won," he said. His voice was weak. "A small human and 3 baby animals. You won against me." "Yes." How is this possible?" Thought about the question. She thought about everything that had happened. The fear, the pain, the love. "Because we fought together," she said. "Because we were not alone. When you have someone to protect, you find strength you never knew you had. The cubs gave me courage. I gave them hope. Together, we were stronger than you could ever be." Closed his eyes. "In my culture, this would be shameful, depending on others, needing others. We believe in strength alone." "And you are alone," said. "You have no family, no one waiting for you, no one who would fight and die for you. Is that strength? Or is it the worst kind of weakness?" Did not answer. Maybe he could not. Maybe he did not know. The sound of boots echoed through the station. Union soldiers were coming. Flashlights cut through the darkness of the corridors. Voices called out. "Dr. Park, Dr. Park, are you here?" Here called back. "I am here, we are safe." The soldiers rushed into the central hub. They saw on the floor. They saw on her knees. They saw the 3 glowing cubs pressed against her. For a moment, no one moved. Then Commander Shin stepped forward. She was a tall woman with kind eyes and silver hair. She looked at and smiled. "Dr. Park," she said, "your friend told us what was happening. He sent emergency calls to every station in the sector. He said you would not give up those cubs no matter what." Felt tears in her eyes again. He was right. Shin looked at the cubs. They looked back at her with their golden eyes. They did not glow at her. They were calm. They knew she was not a threat. "They are beautiful," Shin said softly. "Are you sure they are? The reports say are monsters." "The reports are wrong," said. "They are not monsters, they are family." Shin nodded. "I believe you." The soldiers took away. Medics came to treat wounds. The station was secured. The danger was over. But barely noticed any of it. She sat on the floor of the central hub with 3 small cubs in her arms, and she did not let go for a very long time. Fell asleep first, curled against her stomach. Followed, her clever head resting on his knee. Stayed awake longest, watching his face with his golden eyes. "Sleep, little one," whispered. "You are safe now, we are all safe." Made his soft sound. Then he closed his eyes and let his glow fade to a gentle shimmer. In the darkness of space, surrounded by Union ships and rescue crews and the remains of a battle she never expected to fight, Park held her new family and finally allowed herself to rest. She had won. They had won. Together,